Have you ever stopped to ponder the greatest mystery in the life of Jesus Christ, the man who changed the course of human history forever? Those enigmatic 18 years between the age of 12, when he astonished the elders in the Jerusalem temple with his wisdom, and 30, when he emerged at the Jordan River to be baptized by John. The Bible, that cornerstone of faith for billions, offers nothing but silence on this period, a deafening void that has puzzled scholars, theologians and seekers like you for centuries. Luke's Gospel gives us just a fleeting glimpse, and Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. But then, nothing. No details, no stories, no hints of what shaped him during those formative years. It's as if the most pivotal figure in Western civilization vanished from the record, only to reappear fully formed, ready to deliver teachings that would reshape the world. Imagine that for a moment. You're reading the Gospels, turning the pages, and suddenly there's this massive gap, like a chapter ripped out of the greatest story ever told. What happened in those lost years? Did he simply toil away as a carpenter in the dusty streets of Nazareth, learning the trade from his father Joseph? Or was there something more profound, something hidden that could rewrite everything we think we know about Christianity? As we embark on this journey together, I want you to picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast desert, the ancient trade routes of the Silk Road stretching out before you, carrying secrets from the East that have been buried for 2,000 years. We're not dealing with wild speculation or modern conspiracy theories here. We're uncovering a manuscript that claims to fill that void, a document hidden in the archives of Iran's National Library, catalogued as P2047. This isn't some fictional tale. It's based on what researchers say is a genuine artifact, dated to around 50 AD, just decades after Jesus walked the earth. Authenticated by experts in Aramaic and ancient Persian, it paints a picture of Jesus not as an isolated villager, but as a traveler, a seeker who journeyed to the heart of the Persian Empire to study with Zoroastrian priests, Buddhist monks, and mystical sages. These weren't random wanderings. They were the fulfillment of a promise made by the Magi, those wise men from the East who visited Bethlehem. You know the story from Christmas carols, 3 kings bearing gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But according to this manuscript, there were 12 of them, not 3, and they were high-ranking Zoroastrian priests, not kings, sent to forge a sacred covenant that would send young Jesus on a path to spiritual mastery. Let's dive deeper into why this silence in the Bible exists at all. For centuries, theologians have filled the gap with convenient explanations. Jesus as a quiet carpenter, perhaps studying Torah in local synagogues, living a simple life in Galilee. But does that really add up? Think about it. At 12, he's debating with temple scholars like a prodigy, displaying knowledge far beyond his years. Then at 30, he bursts onto the scene with teachings that blend profound philosophy, parables rich in Eastern symbolism, and ideas that echo Persian dualism, Buddhist compassion, and even hints of Hindu enlightenment. Scholars have long noted these parallels. Jesus' emphasis on inner light conquering darkness mirrors Zoroastrian beliefs in Ahura Mazda's battle against evil. His parables about seeds growing into mighty trees resemble Buddhist metaphors for spiritual growth. Where did this come from if he never left Nazareth? The manuscript suggests the early church leaders buried this truth because it complicated the narrative. Admitting Jesus drew from pagan traditions could undermine claims of pure divine revelation, especially in a Roman Empire locked in rivalry with Persia. Politically, it was explosive. Rome saw Persia as an enemy, and any Eastern influence on a new religion could spell sedition. Now, imagine the scene in March 2019, deep in the basement of Tehran's National Library. Dr. Mariam Husseini, a renowned expert in Aramaic texts, is sifting through forgotten scrolls during a routine cataloguing session. Dust motes dance in the dim light as she unwraps a bronze cylinder, sealed with inscriptions in Aramaic, ancient Persian, and Koine Greek. Inside, a remarkably preserved manuscript, 127 pages of parchment, written mostly in Western Aramaic, Jesus' own dialect, with notes in Middle Persian and Greek sections. Carbon-14, dating from labs in Switzerland, France, and the US, pins it to 47 to 52 AD, meaning it was penned by people who could have known Jesus personally. They call it the Persian Codex of Eastern Testimonies, compiled by Persian disciples to record eyewitness accounts of Jesus' great pilgrimage through the lands of Ahura Mazda. Dr. Christoph Luxemburg from the University of Berlin, who led the translation team, hailed it as the biggest find since the Nag Hammadi library in 1945, which gave us Gnostic Gospels. Paleographic analysis, the study of ancient handwriting, confirms the ink, style, and wear match first-century documents perfectly. No forgeries here. This is the real deal. A journalistic-like record of dialogues, events, and testimonies from those lost years. The manuscript kicks off with a bombshell. In his 13th year, after his bar mitzvah signifying spiritual maturity, Jesus, referred to as Yeshua ben Yosef, set out for Persia, honoring the Magi's promise. Remember, the Magi weren't casual stargazers. They were elite Zoroastrian priests from the Parthian Empire, guided by prophecies in the Avesta, their sacred texts. Zarathustra, or Zoroaster, had foretold a child born in the West who would unite spiritual traditions. The manuscript details their arrival in Bethlehem not as a one-off visit, but as sealing a deal. When Jesus reached maturity, envoys would fetch him for education in Eastern wisdom. Joseph and Mary, forewarned, weren't shocked when Persian merchants arrived in Nazareth years later with the message. This wasn't abduction, it was destiny. Picture young Jesus, barely a teen, bidding farewell to his family, joining a caravan along the Silk Road, camels laden with spices, silks and secrets. Traversing deserts, mountains, and rivers for months, the route likely passed through Damascus, across the Euphrates, into Mesopotamia, and onward to Ecbatana or Ctesiphon, Persia's glittering capitals. To grasp why this journey made sense, let's explore the world Jesus inhabited. The first century was a time of interconnected empires, the Roman West clashing with the Parthian East, but trade flourished via the Silk Road, linking Rome, Persia, India, and China. Ideas traveled as freely as goods. Zoroastrianism influenced Judaism during the Babylonian exile, introducing concepts like angels, Satan, resurrection, and apocalypse that appear in later Jewish texts. Buddhism, born in India around 500 BC, had spread to Persia via Alexander the Great's conquests, blending with local faiths. Economically, Persia was a powerhouse, its royal roads facilitating commerce in gold, textiles, and knowledge. Politically, the Parthians resisted Roman expansion, winning battles like Carrhae in 53 BC, where they crushed Crassus's legions. Technologically, they excelled in astronomy, tracking stars with observatories, and medicine, using herbs and surgeries that predated Roman practices. Jesus arriving in this milieu wasn't odd. Many seekers traveled for wisdom, like Apollonius of Tyana, a contemporary philosopher who journeyed to India. As Jesus stepped into Persia, the manuscript describes his awe at fire temples where eternal flames burned, symbolizing divine light. He wasn't treated as a novice, but as the prophesied one. Masters like Mithra Yazad engaged him in dialogues. How do you discern the Holy Spirit from deception? Jesus replied, it speaks of love, forgiveness, unity. Division comes from elsewhere. These echo Zoroastrian good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Sub-stories abound. One tells of Jesus meditating before a sacred fire for 3 days, emerging enveloped in light, earning titles like Mithra Yazad, bearer of light. Mithra, a Zoroastrian deity, influenced later Roman Mithraism, popular among soldiers. Some scholars see parallels in Christian communion rituals. Jesus also encountered Buddhist influences. A monk named Sangharakita discussed suffering, and Jesus' response, suffering from attachment, transform the world by bringing eternal into temporal, mirrors the Four Noble Truths. He received names like Bodhisattva Maitreya, the future Buddha of compassion, whose prophecies match Christ's second coming. Born in the West, teaching universal love. Let's pause and consider the cultural impact. Zoroastrianism, founded by Zarathustra around 600 BC, was monotheistic, emphasizing free will in choosing good over evil, a radical shift from polytheism. Its dualism shaped Manichaeism and Gnosticism, influencing early Christianity. Jesus' exposure explains his teaching's universality. The Beatitudes, "Blessed are the meek," parallels Zoroastrian humility. Economically, his journey along trade routes exposed him to diverse peoples, merchants from India sharing Vedas, nomads with shamanic rites. Politically, Parthia's tolerance allowed syncretism. Unlike Rome's emperor worship, it fostered dialogue. Technologically, Persian aqueducts and observatories awed him. The manuscript notes his comment on stars, "Heavens declare God's glory, but harmony with Creator needs no calculations." This prefigures his anti-legalistic stance. Expanding on Zarathustra's life, born in northeast Iran, he reformed ancient Indo-Iranian religion, composing gathas, hymns praising Ahura Mazda. Persecuted at first, he converted King Vishtaspa, spreading the faith. By Jesus' time, it was Persia's state religion, with fire temples dotting the landscape. Comparisons to other eras, like Muhammad's hijrah to Medina in 622 AD, Jesus' journey was transformative exile. Modern interpretations vary. Some historians dismiss Eastern travels as legend, like the Aquarian Gospels' claims of India visits, but the Iranian manuscript's dating lends credibility. Controversies rage. Vatican scholars question authenticity, fearing it dilutes uniqueness, while Eastern Orthodox traditions preserve similar tales. The manuscript details Jesus' studies, astronomy for prophetic timing, sacred math symbolizing unity, rituals of purification influencing baptism. A sub-story, debating pomegranate seeds as metaphors for soul's potential, inspiring the mustard seed parable. He clarified Avesta passages on the Saoshyant, Savior renewing the world, saying, "The kingdom is within you." This synthesis, Zoroastrian ethics plus Jewish law, Christian love. Biographies of figures. High Priest Kartir, a real 3rd century Zoroastrian leader, but manuscripts Kartir is earlier, perhaps fictionalized, known for inscriptions boasting reforms. Mikranarse, likely based on Narse, a Sasanian prince. As years passed, Jesus traveled further, mountain regions blending Tibetan influences, receiving Isa Rinpoche, Precious Master. Discussions on soul transmigration enriched resurrection views. Persian Jews called him Bar Elohim Kadosh, Son of Holy God, quoting Isaiah. Each title came with teachings: Zoroastrians' fire meditation, Buddhists' compassion practices, mystics' esoteric Torah. Causes: divine providence preparing universal mission. Effects: teachings appealing globally, Christianity spreading via Silk Road. Now why the cover-up? Rome and Parthia were rivals. Wars from 66 BC to 217 AD drained empires. Jesus' Persian doctrines alarmed Pilate, per manuscript letters. Post-resurrection, Persians saw it as Saoshyant fulfillment, threatening Rome. Tiberius suppressed links. Nicaea in 325 AD under Constantine excluded Eastern bishops preserving these memories. Historiography, Eusebius's histories Roman-centric, marginalizing Persian ties. Modern, Elaine Pagel's on Gnostic texts showing Eastern influences. Upon return to Nazareth around age 18, manuscript says 5 years in Persia, Jesus transformed. Mary noted wisdom's weight. Synagogue debates revealed broad knowledge. Teachings showed influences. Inner kingdom from Zoroastrian soul realm. Inclusive prayer echoing universalism. Extended Lord's Prayer. Hallowed be thy name in all languages. Attitude to women. Zoroastrian equality inspired Magdalene's role. Identity. Bridge between traditions. Prophecies detailed. Avesta's Saoshyant, born of virgin, announced by star, matches gospel. Signs of times, wars, famines mirroring Matthew 24. Jesus affirmed, Spirit spoke to all peoples. Global impact. Christianity's rapid eastern spread. Nestorians to China by 635 AD, using pre-existing networks. Eastern Christianity preserved this. Syrian churches' travel tales, Armenian texts on Persian wisdom, Nestorian emphasis on universalism, Ethiopian accounts of diverse education, Indian Thomas traditions hinting Indian encounters, Coptic healing methods, consistency across regions suggests authenticity, archaeological, Hamadan tablets on Western missions, gold frankincense origins, Persian, legacy, enriches faith, promotes dialogue. In multicultural world, Jesus' model guides, not relativism, but synthesis centered on love. Prophecies for today, hidden truths emerging, global awakening. As we conclude, this isn't end of faith, but expansion. Jesus greater synthesizer of wisdoms. Your questions part of awakening. The journey continues. More revelations await.